pretty. Come along. Hey garden gals and guys. She's getting pretty big and feeling pretty tired. But we're gonna do a video today, everybody. Buckle up. Hey garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and I'm coming to you today with a get organized video. This is the rest of my checklist for March. We're about halfway through. Today is March 12th, and I felt I needed to get myself a little bit organized of what I need to get done the rest of the month. So that's what I'm bringing to you, and I am a home gardener here in Zone 5B/6A in the Chicago suburbs. Now, if you're new to my channel, I am 6 months pregnant with twins. This is week 24. Yes, week 24. And the last video off camera, I sprained my ankle. Okay, I just fell and my foot is pounding. I had fallen and sprained my ankle, but the babies are all right, thank God. But it set me back. So last week I did not get a video filmed, but I did get all my snapdragons planted because I had to stop that night and I still had 7 packs to go. So all the snapdragons are planted, some are starting to germinate, but all that to say, I just felt I needed to get organized. Do you ever have those times when you feel like you're ahead for a moment and then 3 days later you feel like you're behind? Because that's me right now. But we are going to give ourselves grace, right? I can't be the only one who is going through some sort of life thing and maybe a little bit behind this year. It's okay. Really, we're doing okay. So for all of you asking how I'm doing, I am doing well overall, except that sprained ankle did set me back a bit, and I'm starting to feel the pregnancy more, as in I'm pretty fatigued. By 3 p.m. I'm wiped. So I've been finding it a little bit difficult to get motivated, and there's like a soccer match going on in here between the girls, which again, very grateful, but makes Mama a little tired. We're gonna keep trucking though, because Mama's only gonna get bigger from here, and I wanna get done the majority of things I can now. So let's jump right in, shall we? The first thing I wanna talk about is ranunculus and anemones. I am not having a good year this year with those. I have one takeout tray that has some green above the surface and has some good pre-sprouted roots on it. The rest of them, I'm gonna be honest, I butchered. I have let them dry out too much. A lot of them are shriveled, or they were poking above the soil and now they're not. These that were pre-sprouting just maybe 5 days ago have now died. I just watered these heavily. And I think they were getting too dry because I was lazy and didn't come down to check on them. Our weather here has been so fluctuating between hot and cold that I had them in the cold frame. And then this is not great. I think we've had some visitors. Those are poking up through the soil. These over here are out. Some critters have been in here. And then I moved them into the freezer. Correction, to the refrigerator, not freezer, where it sits at 45.5 degrees, right around there. It is February 23rd. These have been down here a week and a day, and I am seeing the first signs of pre-sprouting. If you can see that white coming up and those itty bitty roots starting to grow. Oh, I'm so excited. I was starting to get a little nervous. Then I moved them out to the grow shell, and I want to see if this speeds up the pre-sprouting process. And I just haven't checked on them for 3 days at a time for no good excuse, except I didn't feel like going downstairs to check on them. And that's what happens when we're negligent. So anyways, I'm doing one more ditch effort to save them. They're in the cold frame now. I've given them a bunch of water and topped them off with more soil. Okay, I've officially moved them all out with a large drink of water to the cold frame. My last ditch effort. I found some Pro Mix on the ground, so I topped them off and then watered them again. I honestly think they're too dry, the majority of them, but my last ditch effort here. And these little baggies that you see around are to keep mice away because I have had that problem. We'll see. March 12th today. I'm happy I at least have one little container of them. All that said, I can do a more in-depth video about it later, but if I were on track, those would be pre-sprouted by now and have green above the surface. I would try and get those planted outside in my raised beds in the next 2 weeks. So today is March 12th. By the end of March, I would like those planted in my raised beds because they take 27 degrees. Anemones take even a little cooler, and I've got a hoop structure over them. So if they need to be protected, they could. So it's better that they're planted out earlier than later, but that's not my position right now. However, if it's your position, get those babies planted by the end of the month. Next, another thing I should have already done is sown my bells of Ireland. They have been cold stratifying in the fridge because they need a week in the cool, so I just put them in the fridge. And they're 8 to 10 weeks, I think, before the last frost date is when you technically should sow them. Right now I'm 6.5, so as soon as possible I need to get those babies into some soil and pre-sprout bells of Ireland. The last thing I need to do as soon as possible is pot up my Lisianthus. I want to pot them up from the small soil block because I did that last year and had really good luck. And the soil block I started with this year was just planted in ocean forest potting soil, and there's a lot of debris in there. So some of them have really struggled, but I've still got 85. I counted today, and I'll do a separate video on that. But potting up my Lisianthus is top of the list as well. Those 3 things for sure. Planting out anemones and ranunculus, sowing bells of Ireland, transplanting up into cell trays my Lisianthus. Okay, next, now we're back on track quite a bit at this point. What I want to do by March 16th, and today is the 12th, so in the next 4 days, giving myself a goal, is plant my mahogany splendor hibiscus. And that is 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date when you want to plant that. I had great luck with it last year. I'm only going to do probably about maybe 6 2-inch soil blocks of it. They get very big very quickly, so it's better to just start them in the bigger soil blocks if you're using soil blocks. Also, I want to plant sweet black cherry dianthus. This I think is a really underrated cut flower. It smells incredible. The texture is like a velvety red and it's beautiful. That I want to get planted too. I'm probably going to do just 2 soil blocks worth of that. That one's also a 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date. Then my next set is 5 to 6 weeks out from my last frost date. So these I want to get planted by March 21st. And that is all of my tomatoes. So I'll quickly read them for you. Cherokee Purple, Sunrise Bumblebee, Indigo Cherry Drops, Brandywine, and Sun Gold. These I am going to do in the 2-inch soil blocks as well for the same reason. They grow quickly, they'll have big roots, so they should do well in soil blocks. I've not grown them in soil blocks before, but I know a lot of people have had great luck, so I'm going to do that with them this year. And also my stock. Now, one of my stock packets says 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost date. I think it may be a typo. That's the iron cherry stock. But either way, my other one says 5 to 6 weeks before the last frost date. So if I get my stock planted by March 21st, I'll be on track there. And I have the Cat's Ruby stock and the iron cherry stock. And that is my list. Getting organized, what I need to do this last part of March here. I hope that's helpful if you're in a similar boat to me and trying to figure out what you need to get done. It's not too long of a list, but it's long enough. So I'm hoping I can get all that done, and now I've got a goal and dates in mind and feel a little more organized. And I was really discouraged when I checked on those anemones and ranunculus earlier today, but you know, I've got some coming up in my raised beds from last year, which I didn't expect, especially anemones. Anemones coming in hot. I'm so pleasantly surprised these overwintered really well. I mean, look at that gorgeous green growth. Fresh green leaves. Pop through the soil. And we'll just do what we can. My babies are healthy. I'm healthy. That's my number one priority. And as much as I love my garden, I'm just doing what I can this year. So please remember that in the moments you get frustrated with how some of your cut flower seed starting may be going or whatever it may be, that it's gonna turn out okay. Whatever we get this year, we get, and we'll enjoy it. I think I just gave myself a little motivational speech there. It was good. I needed to hear it. So please comment below and let me know what is on your list, especially if you're in the same zone as me, 5B/6A, for the rest of March, because let's be honest, I'm sure I'm probably missing something. Of course I did. Sweet peas. I forgot sweet peas. I had great luck sowing them in soil blocks last year in the cold frame, but I think I'm going to direct sow ASAP this year. I do hope everything is going well in your gardens. Thanks for checking in on me, and we will see you in the next one. Drop me a comment below and let me know how everything you've started is going for you, especially snapdragons. I've heard that a lot of people are having difficulty with their snapdragons, especially if you got them from Johnny's, which I got most of mine from Johnny's. And I have seen some germination so far in the first half, but I'm curious what your experience is, so please share below. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe if you haven't and like this video if you enjoyed it. We will see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging in there with me, everybody. Happy planting. Bye.